Of course, Corinthians is a church, baby church, and it's a church with massive problems. Of course, 1 Corinthians 6 would be considered a radical grace church, or excuse me, but the book of 1 Corinthians would be radical grace. And of course, all we have to do is go right to chapter 5. I invite you to read it on your own. And it is reported commonly, 1 Corinthians 5:1, it is reported commonly that there is fornication among you, and such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles, that one should have his father's wife. And you are, and of course, this is probably the guy's stepmother, God forbid it was his mother. We can't even wrap our minds around that. So it was probably his stepmother that he was in sexual relations with. And you are puffed up, verse 2, and not rather mourned, that he that has done this deed might be taken away from you. What does he mean? He means, in other words, the person who is sleeping with his probably stepmother, that he's sitting in the aisle right next to you and you're raising your hands worshiping God with this person, and you're not just devastated by what this person is doing, and which means what? Which means the infection that this person has in thinking he can live in that kind of fornication and still be saved has influenced you, is been the leaven. If you put leaven in the bread, it causes it to rise, and it spreads. Just a little bit of leaven just spreads throughout the loaf and causes it to rise. So when he says you're puffed up, it means that leaven has affected you sitting next to this person in church, and you're now being influenced by that greasy grace, that greasy radical grace that thinks I can live in this kind of fornication or any kind of fornication and still be saved. So if you're sitting next to him, even though you're not doing it, you're not calling him out on it, which means you're being leavened by the same mindset. So 1 Corinthians is just a church on a dangerous course.